It was a cold Tuesday evening when Mia knelt beside a woman in a wheelchair and gently lifted a spoon to her lips. The restaurant was busy, orders flying, plates clattering, but time seemed to pause for a moment as her kindness bloomed in silence. She didn't know that someone across the room was watching, someone whose call would change everything she thought she knew about her own worth, her past, and even her future. And neither did she expect that her quiet compassion would unlock a secret that had been waiting for decades. If this story moved you, don't forget to like, comment, share with someone who needs hope today. Subscribe our channel Kindness Talks for more real-life inspired emotional stories. Mia Thompson had learned long ago that people didn't see waitresses. They saw uniforms, coffee pots, plates of eggs, but not the girl carrying them. At 23, she'd been waiting tables at Lester's Diner for nearly 5 years. Life hadn't offered her many choices. Her mother had disappeared when she was 10, leaving her and her little brother to be raised by their sick grandmother. Her father? She didn't remember him. Just a blurred memory of shouting, then silence. Every morning, Mia tied her dark hair into a ponytail, pulled on her apron, and tucked a photo of her brother, now in the army, into her pocket. That photo was her anchor. Lester's Diner was small, located off a quiet road in New Hampshire. Regulars came in for pancakes and black coffee. Mia knew their names, their stories, and their sorrows. But no one really knew hers. And she liked it that way. She was the girl who smiled, remembered your favorite pie, and refilled your cup before you asked. That night, the snow tapped gently against the windows like it didn't want to disturb anyone. The dinner rush was thinning out. Mia was wiping down tables when the bell above the door rang. She looked up and saw something unusual, an older woman, clearly disabled, being slowly wheeled in by a young caretaker. The woman's hands were curled, her body rigid, her eyes wide but kind. The caretaker, overwhelmed, left the woman for a moment to speak to someone on the phone just outside. Mia immediately walked over, knelt beside the woman, and smiled. "Hi there. I'm Mia," she whispered warmly. "Would you like something warm? Maybe soup?" The woman gave the smallest nod. The caretaker was still on the phone, distracted and unaware that the woman couldn't hold the spoon properly. Without hesitation, Mia returned with hot chicken soup and crouched beside her. Slowly, patiently, spoon by spoon, she fed her. Not in pity, but in love. She wiped her lips gently, held her hand as she trembled, and smiled every time their eyes met. What Mia didn't know was that a man in a long brown coat, seated quietly in the corner, was watching the entire scene. His name was Alan Rowe. He wore a baseball cap low, like someone trying not to be noticed. But inside, his heart was unraveling. Alan Rowe wasn't just a diner customer. He was a reclusive billionaire and the owner of one of the largest real estate empires in the country. No one in town knew him. He had returned to this forgotten place for a single reason, to revisit the shadows of his past. But tonight, he saw something different. Not buildings. Not investments. He saw a young woman who had nothing, offering everything she had. When Mia returned to the kitchen, she didn't notice the tears in the older woman's eyes. She didn't see the man leaving quietly, pausing only to ask the cashier for the waitress's full name. Later that night, as Mia walked home in the snow, she stopped by the nursing home to drop off soup for the night nurse who once took care of her grandmother. She did that every Tuesday. No one asked her to. She just did. She finally made it home, just a tiny one-room studio above a dry cleaner, and collapsed on her mattress with a sigh. Life was hard. Rent was late. Her shoes had holes. But somehow, helping others kept her going. Her phone buzzed at 1:03 a.m. She almost ignored it. But something told her to pick up. "Hello?" she said groggily. "Is this Mia Thompson?" a calm, deep voice asked. "Yes. My name is Alan Rowe. I watched what you did tonight. And I believe it's time someone watched out for you." Mia sat up straight, heart racing. "Who is this? Is this some kind of joke?" "I understand your skepticism," Alan said calmly. "I don't usually make these calls. In fact, I never have. But something about what you did tonight, I couldn't walk away from it." She said nothing, unsure whether to hang up or listen. "I'm not trying to scare you. I promise. I think we're meant to meet. If you're willing, I'd like to buy you coffee tomorrow morning. Not as a stranger. As someone who believes you deserve more." "Why?" "Because I saw someone feeding a disabled woman like she was feeding her own mother. And I haven't seen love like that in a long, long time." The next morning, curiosity dragged Mia to a small, quiet cafe she had never visited before. There, seated at a corner booth, was Alan. He stood as she walked in. Older, in his 60s, his eyes were gentle but deeply sad. He ordered her hot chocolate. "I lost my wife 2 years ago," he began. "She had ALS. Near the end, she couldn't eat by herself. The way you helped that woman, it was like I saw my wife again. You reminded me what love looks like." Mia listened, uncertain. No one had ever talked to her like this, like she mattered. Alan leaned forward. "I've spent years building empires. But you built something I couldn't buy. Compassion. I want to help you." "I don't need help," she said, voice trembling. "I just do what anyone should do." "No," he said. "You do what few choose to." Alan offered her a job. Not just any job, a foundation he was starting to support caregivers, single mothers, and disabled individuals. He wanted her as a coordinator. Said she had the heart, and that's what mattered most. She refused. Twice. But on the third visit, after Alan donated to the nursing home her grandmother had died in, renaming it after her, Mia finally said yes. Weeks passed. Mia slowly adjusted to her new life, helping more people, traveling for causes, working side by side with Alan's team. She kept waitressing part-time, not out of need, but humility. One day, Alan handed her an envelope. "What's this?" she asked. "Something I found in old adoption files." She froze. Inside was a birth certificate. A photo of her as a baby. And a name. Her father's name. Alan looked at her and whispered, "I knew him. He worked for me. He made mistakes. But before he died, he asked me to find you. I didn't know it would be you, until that night." Mia wept. Years of wondering, of feeling unloved, crumbled. And then Alan said something that would stay with her forever. "You didn't just help that woman eat. You fed a starving part of my soul. And now, it's my turn to help you remember, you were never invisible. You were seen. You were loved. You were found." Sometimes, one quiet act of kindness can echo into the deepest corners of another person's life. Mia didn't set out to change the world. She just chose to love. And in doing so, she was seen, lifted, and finally, home.